Myeshia Johnson wipes away tears during the burial service for her husband, Sergeant David Johnson, at the Memorial Gardens East Cemetery in Hollywood, FLA. 19 days after her husband's death and 2 days after his wrenching burial, the widow of Sergeant David Johnson said she has nothing to say to President Trump, whose condolence call pulled the grieving widow into the center of a national controversy. Subscribe to the Post-Most newsletter. Today's most popular stories on the Washington Post: very upset and hurt. It made me cry even worse, Myeshia Johnson said Monday on Good Morning America, making her first public comment since she received the call from Trump last week on the same day. Her husband's remains were flown back to the United States. The president, Johnson said, told her that her husband knew what he signed up for. But it hurts anyways. And it made me cry. I was very angry at the tone of his voice and how he said it. She added, I didn't say anything. I just listened. Her husband was killed in action in West Africa on October 4, one of 4 U.S. soldiers who died in Niger when Islamic State militants attacked them. His body was flown back to the United States on Tuesday. Soon after, his name became entangled in a controversy after Trump was accused of making insensitive remarks to the 25-year-old soldier's widow. Rep. Frederica S. Wilson, DFLA, said Trump told Myeshia Johnson on the phone that her husband must have known what he signed up for. An account later corroborated by Johnson's aunt and custodial mother, Kawanda Jones Johnson. Trump vehemently denied Wilson's account, stating without evidence that he had proof it was totally fabricated. But White House Chief of Staff John F. Kelly later appeared to confirm Wilson's account. Myeshia Johnson said Monday that Wilson's version of events was 100% correct. As questions continued to swirl around the circumstances of Johnson's death and around that Tuesday afternoon condolence call, the fallen soldiers' loved ones largely remained quiet, except for a few public Facebook posts sharing pictures, condolences and memories of him. Photos from Saturday's funeral and burial in Hollywood, FLA, showed relatives sobbing and members of Johnson's battalion, the Bush Hog Formation, breaking down in tears. Just before he was buried, Myeshia Johnson kissed the casket. But in her interview Monday with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, she said she's not totally convinced her husband's remains were inside. Why couldn't I see my husband? Every time I asked to see my husband, they wouldn't let me, she said. They won't show me a finger, a hand. I know my husband's body from head to toe. They won't show me anything. I don't know what's in that box. It could be empty for all I know. Trump did not attend the funeral. A White House press pool report said the president spent part of his Saturday at Trump National Golf Club in Virginia. To those who knew him, Johnson was a loving husband who had his wife's name tattooed across his chest, a soldier who pushed to improve himself, a son who enjoyed talking about his family. He was also a father who was looking forward to seeing his baby girl. Myeshia is 6 months pregnant. The couple also have a 2-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter. He was very excited. He said, Sergeant B. I'm having a girl. Staff Sergeant Dennis Bowler, Johnson's close friend, told the Post last week. Myeshia Johnson kisses her husband's casket during his burial service on Saturday. Myeshia Johnson is presented with the U.S. flag that was draped over her husband's casket. Amy B. Wong contributed to this report. More reading. The tearful burial of Sergeant David Johnson. Listen. A soldier's widow shares her call with Trump. Donald Trump's history of bashing 4-star generals.